All right, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another Real Talk video. I pray that everybody is doing well and having a wonderful, blessed day as we thank the Most High Yah for so much. Another blessed day. My title says, Take Over When I'm Gone. I need you to take over when I'm gone, but watch me as I'm leading. Video responds back to you, Sister Michelle 38. You know who you are. Powerful email. And I want to encourage you and others around the world in this email because we all need somebody up under us that we should be training. You know, you have to learn to follow before you learn to lead. This is what's wrong with so many people. They want to lead, but they never went through the process of following. That's what's wrong with a lot of churches. You got a lot of people in leadership that's trying to lead, but they never learned how to follow. You got people that's calling themselves pastors, that's over congregations that never learned how to lead. They just jumped up there, and I mean, they never learned how to follow first, but they call themselves leading. And the Bible teaches us that you must do things in decent and in order. And anytime you get outside of the Most High's divine order, there is no order, there is no structure, there is no church. But we all should be training somebody up under us, and they should be watching us as we are watching Christ. There's gonna come a time when JT ain't gonna be here no more. A lot of folks, they just don't want to talk about that. They don't even want to think about that. They think they're gonna go on forever and forever and forever. But real talk, if you're not teaching somebody right now, or if you've been in ministry for years and years, and you think that your time ain't gonna never end, then you got another thing coming. Well, I don't want nobody to take my place. I've been doing this for so long. Your time gonna be up one day. And it shouldn't be that you become a hater. You should be full of joy that somebody wants to learn from you. You should be happy that, oh, here's a young man or here's a young woman that's watching me and learning from me as I learn from the Most High. You should be happy behind that. You should be ready to teach. You should be excited. There's so many ministers in the pulpit, they hate on each other and they don't want to let others preach. Now I understand when you ain't ready yet. But how long are you going to continue to tell them they ain't ready? And if they never step out there, how are they going to get ready? There's going to come a time when you might as well let them preach, whether they do too good or too bad. The thing is, they got to get in the process of getting in front of people. But so many elders, well, I'm going to make that call. There have been so many people that have lost good ministers because, well, I ain't never let him preach. But then when he got ordained and went somewhere else, you got mad that he left. And now you see him, he done blowed up. Now it's like, I should have went on and gave that old boy a shot. It's too late now. Because you scared or whatever the reason is, your ego or whatever it is, your pride or he may outdo me. It's not about a competition. But nowadays it is about a competition in most churches. But my point is, you got to get to the point where you allow them to get out there. Who got out there the first time and got it right? I know I didn't. But how else are they gonna learn? They watching you. And this is another thing. I was just telling my big brother this. I've learned so much years on top of years from watching people what they do wrong. I learn from people when they do wrong. I look at mistakes on top of mistakes after years, and that's why I know what not to do. Am I perfect? No, nobody's perfect. But you shouldn't keep making the same thing, the same mistake over and over and over again. See, we all know, let me just go back to the old covenant, the old testament, the old agreement. Moses led Israel, complained in Israel. But Moses had somebody watching him. Joshua. I like to say Moses' young aide, Moses' assistant. Joshua watched what to do, how to do it, when to do it. One of the greatest military, if you want to say military, that's one of the greatest that ever done the game, that ever lived it, that ever walked the walk and talked the talk. But he watched Moses. He learned. He followed. And when Moses died, well, who you think took over? Joshua. Joshua said, as for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord. Do you think he was talking about his house with children and his family and his wife? Or was he talking about anybody that was talking about serving the Most High? They better ride with Joshua. Are you going to ride all the way or don't ride at all? But he watched. Let me go to the New Testament. Apostle Paul. In the new covenant, the new agreement. Let's go back to young Timothy. Timothy was an awesome young man. Notice I said young man. I hope I can get some pastors' attention. When you study, Timothy was probably about 15 years old when he met Paul. Timothy saw some things that Paul done. He heard Paul preach the gospel. Remind you, this man was already taught from studying. I learned this years ago that Timothy was taught by his mother and his grandmother. They taught him the Old Testament. They taught him the old scriptures. So you can imagine what Paul already saw in this young man. Timothy was right there with Paul. He knew they stoned Paul and left Paul for dead. But what did Paul do? He got right back up and started preaching. Paul said, this is the kind of young man I need to take on a journey with me. I can train him. I can teach him how to do missionary work. I'm going to even put him in charge of older people. They're going to be some that's not going to listen to him because of his age. But Timothy, you got this. Paul gave Timothy instructions. Timothy helped Paul to establish churches. Paul would send Timothy here and there to teach and to encourage other believers at churches. Timothy was right there when Paul got locked up in prison. He told Timothy, I need you to keep it going. Timothy obeyed. Timothy learned. Timothy followed. Timothy done well. Timothy was like a young son in the ministry to Paul. I laugh at so many older preachers because they always talking, this is my son in the ministry. Yeah, I taught him well, but you didn't even want to let him preach. You kept saying he wasn't ready to get out there. The only way you're going to get out there is get out there. It wasn't just Timothy. There was another young man by the name of Titus. I'm reminded of Brother Titus Taylor on here. Titus heard Paul preach. And if I'm not mistaken, Titus wasn't even brought up on the right gospel. But when he heard Paul, changed him. Paul said, I'm going to let him go with me too. He traveled with Paul doing missionary work. See, most of these churches that got missionary as their title, they need to take off missionary and put up their stationary Baptist church. See, when you going to and fro, going here and there, you getting outside of them walls. You going out and reaching and teaching others that ain't never heard it before. Paul said, this is another young man that's going to be good. He going to be good for missionary work, So Paul would send Titus to places like Corinth. And if you know anything about Corinth, it wasn't easy to be in Corinth. There's so many examples in the Bible where you should have your help. You should want somebody to take over and be great when you are gone. Even Christ had disciples. I look at this social media. So many people are so fascinated off of how many subscribers they got. They worried about how many subscribers they got, how many followers they got online. But the question is, what are they doing offline? I know you can go on and say, ouch. I'm worried about my views. I'm worried about my subscribers. I'm worried, man. What is your focus? Are you spending more time online or in the Bible? Add up your hours and see which one is overriding. Because anything you got that's hindering you, then that means that done became your God in so many ways. You worried about your subscribers and this and that, but how many have you helped offline? You sending scriptures on Facebook, but how many scriptures have you sat down and read and understood and really showed somebody else what this really means? How many have you prayed for? How many have you went and bought groceries for while you just blowing money on your scratch offs and your beer and your liquor and going to the casino? Oh yeah, I said it. We always talking about this and that. If I could just have somebody to help somebody, well, put some of your cigarette money back. It don't take much to help somebody. I'm stepping on toes now. Put your weed money away. Let that be the money you set aside. Forget the dime sack. Forget the 20 sacks. Take all your habit money and help somebody. Because you ain't doing them but blowing it on habits anyway. That can be food in somebody's cabinet. Don't go lose it. Give it to me. I'll help somebody else with it. See, we shouldn't have this hatred spirit, y'all. You should have a giving heart. And I ain't just talking about money. As a matter of fact, giving comes in way more ways than money. I always say this out of all the people that I have taught. I ain't just talking about, the word. I'm talking about with the piano. I hope that everybody that learned from the piano can see where I've been at for the last 15, 16 years now. Even though they mad at me, but I just hope and pray they can see that it's past your piano. That this world is gonna take a more turn for the worse, and that you need to get more and more serious with the word, your life, and helping others, because time is ticking. Kingdom building never stops. I just pray that when I'm gone, that somebody will keep it going. Carry that torch to the older men. Teach the younger man the right way. Stop trying to be the younger man that you still want to be young and hip with your pants sagging and at the club trying to holler at the 20-year-old. Them days should be over with. The Bible say when I was a child, I done as a child. I did childish things. But when I became a man, I put away those childish things. Stop being a childish grown man. You should better not learn and live your life past all that. To the older women, teach the younger women, as the Bible say. Teach them. Don't care how mad they get. Let them know what they doing is hoish. You did it before. Let them know that ain't the way. Teach them how to dress. I know some of them ain't gonna listen, but just at least try to reach some of them instead of just not trying at all. I see. Well, she ain't. She just gonna be this and be that. Well, have you prayed for her? Have you talked to her? Have you tried to talk to her? No, I ain't gonna try to talk to her. She gonna be what she is. Well, how do you know if you never try? I ain't saying everybody gonna listen. The majority are not. But there may be that one or two or three that said, I remember when Sister such and such pulled me to the side and corrected me out of love, not worldly judging me. I remember that brother, man, when he pulled me to the side, said, hey, young man, that ain't the way to be. That man came at me with love, not worldly judging me. This is what we supposed to do. Teach, rebuke, reproof, as the Bible says. But most people are not going to listen. But pastors, as I close, don't think that you can do all this by yourself. It's the reason why you need deacons. It's the reason why you need that youth minister up under you. It's the reason why so many of y'all are burned out, because you are in your flesh and your flesh is getting worn out because you trying to do everything yourself. Now, I know it may be different for some of y'all. Y'all don't need help in the pulpit. I understand that, according to how you operate in your church. But if you operate under the Holy Spirit, then you should know that you need help. That there's going to come a time when your time is going to be over with. You're going to burn yourself out. You keep trying to do it that way. So just remember what my title says. Take over when I'm gone. But while I'm here, watch me as I'm leading. Y'all have a blessed day. Shalom.